And for more on the Team Ortega hot streak, we bring in our After TUF analyst, Chael Sonnen. Chael, look, Team Ortega, they are killing it, 3-0. Do you attribute this dominance to fortunate matchups, the coaching, or are there other factors on the show that have a big effect on the turnout?
Well, there's some positivity to spread around a little bit. I think ultimately, yes, it's the matchups, right? You don't necessarily get to work and strategize quite as much as you'd like to take credit for. Your athletes came in and some of them were prepared, and look, Ortega got the right ones, at least so far.
Well, you got a feel for them because Team Volkanovski can't seem to find their footing. How does a team's losing streak affect their approach to training and preparation, along with really their overall mindset, Chael?
Yeah, and don't forget the way the rules are structured, okay? If you win, you get to pick the next fight. You keep the power. So, that momentum really stays on your side. Look, to answer your question, you can turn things around, and we've seen this in The Ultimate Fighter before. The key for a coach, keep your athletes motivated. This is not just a sport in terms of the unified rules and the punches and the kicks. The experience is very different. Being in the house, this is a grind. This is a grind of the highest of levels. Watching what you eat, being with the competitor at all times, you've got to keep their spirits high.
Okay, so if you were in that scenario, down 0-3, how would you rally your team to keep morale up to hopefully get a victory the following week?
I was in that scenario, except I was down 0-4. And you know what?
Okay, so
you just keep them fresh. You keep them prepared, you keep them fresh, you keep their eye on the ball, and it's one at a time, right? I mean, how does a goldfish eat a shark? A lot of little bites. So the smaller we can make this, just win the round, just win the minute. The fight will then take care of itself. The show and the tournament and the experience will take care of itself. Look, I will tell you this, Volkanovski's doing a fine job, but he's got a lot of horses left in the barn. I think that some of his better athletes haven't been up to bat yet. He could turn this around.
So I just have a question as far as when the fights are happening, you hear, because there's no audience, you hear a lot of the chiming in from the coaches. It seems like Ortega is a bit more of a vocal coach. Do you think that is helping him in helping his fighters?
Surprisingly, by the way, I know Brian Ortega. I can't get him to say 5 words to me if I call him on the phone right now. In the corner, boy, he really is, coming into his own, if you will. I'm seeing a great coach in front of us. Somebody that's got a real future in coaching. And yes, I think that it does. I think that communication with the athletes, as long as the athletes continue to trust him, he knows what he's looking at. He knows what he's seeing. He's got a great vantage point, and they seem to really be bonding.
I was just, my last thing I was going to say to you is bonding. They all got together. Oh, no, actually, you know what? This was Volkanovski. He got together with his team. They all watched the fight together. They had some food. Do you think that those types of things are important as well in terms of building that morale?
I love the word you just used, morale. Yes, those things can really refresh a guy. Those things can be the only thing where you can, okay, time out. We're going to take a little break. We're going to escape reality and think about something else for a couple of hours. It's special. And the fact that he went over and did that with them, showed them and reminded them while they're here so they can fantasize and they can visualize about being in those athletes' spots, having other people throwing parties and having food, watching them on TV. It's one of these things. And yes, it's a great reset.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Volkanovski looking for their first win of the season. Otherwise, it's going to be Team Ortega going up 4-0. So we'll see what happens next week. Chael, as always, thank you so much for the insight.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.